Yeah.
I agree.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any unfinished business or correspondence? May we have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of July 25th, 2023? I'll second. And ready for the vote?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the invoices in the amount of $1,379,882.63 for the period July 22nd through August 4th, 2023? Second. Vote please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
May we have a motion to approve the actual gross payroll in the amount of $296,384.49. Be approved for payment for the period July 16th through July 29th, 2023. Second. Vote please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
May I have a motion to appoint Edward McGinnis of Punxsutawney to the Jefferson County Industrial Development Authority. Mr. McGinnis' term will expire December 2024.
Motion.
Second. Vote please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
May we have a motion to approve the following application for county aid for Clover Township for repairs and equipment, $6,449.99. I'll second. And any discussion on this issue? I'll share the point that this is a continuation of the liquid fuels distribution that we've been doing over the last several weeks. Clover Township is just the latest to be up for consideration by the county, and I believe that one more municipality will finish this out.
Yeah.
So, no further discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Pizarro?
Yes.
At this point, under public comment, Chris Schultz from Red Cross, would you like to have the floor for a few minutes?
I would, thank you. I'll stand so that you can see me. I want to thank you for allowing me to have a little conversation today. My name is Chris Schultz. I'm the disaster program manager for Red Cross that covers this area. We cover 61 out of the 67 counties in the state of Pennsylvania. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit today, and I'm sorry, good morning, commissioners, good morning, gathered folks. I wanted to update you a little bit, and I wrote it down so that I keep track of myself, to talk about a targeted initiative that we at Red Cross embarked on this past year with guidance and input from Tracy Zentz, who is your director of the Department of Emergency Services. So the numbers I'm going to talk about are in our year, and our fiscal year runs the 1st of July to the 30th of June. And so that's a time frame I'm going to talk about a little bit. During that time, our regular course of business, so to speak, is in disaster, where typically we have disaster action team members who specifically respond to disastrous events, mainly home fires, single and or multi-family fires. Here in Jefferson County, we responded to 10 single or multi-family fires last year, assisting 20 adults and 16 children. So those are your constituents who were affected by fire. Many of those were in Punxsutawney. When we respond, we offer immediate assistance, which is typically financial in nature, and emergency supplies such as blankets and comfort kits, which would be toiletry items. But that is not all that we do. That's our immediate response. We follow this up as needed with recovery casework, which relies on the community services in Jefferson County. our health and or mental health services that are by licensed volunteers who give that expertise to folks who are affected, and spiritual care volunteers to help folks making their recovery decisions. We would continue that support for about a month afterwards, so it's not just in and out. We support folks as they move forward in their recovery efforts. This is all reactive in response to disaster events, and it's reflective of our services to your constituents on an all-the-time basis. But what we focused on in this last year in Jefferson County was to work on a proactive basis, again with input from Tracy. Our home fire campaign is like an umbrella approach to work with varying groups with emergency preparedness. And the handouts that I had here today talk about those different programs and give you descriptions of. These programs are specifically to offer fire safety and emergency safety education for all levels. So we offered Pedro the Penguin to 43 youth in kindergarten, first and second grade, and the Pillowcase Project to 21 youth in grades 3, 4, and 5. This was reflective of the Saints Catholic Church School in Punxsutawney to offer these programs in their schools. Again, both these programs offer the fire safety, emergency, specific ways to deal with slow and fast-moving emergencies, all based on appropriate age level delivery. Thanks to the Emergency Management Services Camp, which actually is happening right now, which is why Tracy isn't here today. Last year, we offered hands-only CPR. Again, that's a free program, but it's teaching folks how to do the hands-only CPR, which is just as important and life-saving. You don't have to do the breathing. And we can teach that to all age levels. In partnership with the Area Agency on Aging, we offered Be Red Cross Ready for seniors to all 4 senior centers, and we reached 64 seniors with that program. Again, addressing emergency preparedness and fire safety. Then we followed those up with targeted hot shots. There's a hot shot flyers, the half page in those handouts. That means that we made appointments with them to go back to their homes to install free smoke alarms. So I guess before I want to continue in saying this, our state of Pennsylvania led the nation in fire fatalities for the last 3 years. So far this year, we are not leading. We don't want to lead, but that's why Red Cross really spends a lot of time partnering with our emergency services and fire departments to try to do the next program that I want to talk about. And the main crux of why Tracy wanted me to come talk to you is because we want to be proactive in trying to put working smoke alarms in as many homes as we can, because a working smoke alarm increases your chance of survival by 50%. So what we did with the sound alarm program, again, we worked with Tracy in emergency services. He is who got us connected with the Lindsay Fire Department in Punxsutawney and with your Department of Area Agency on Aging to enable us to get into those senior centers to do all these presentations. We partner with the fire department, and again, this offers free fire safety education and free smoke alarms. We do not hand out smoke alarms, we install them. So we know absolutely for sure when we walk out of a home that there is at least one working smoke alarm in that home. Many of the homes that we went into had none. So I feel pretty good about this initiative. So again, free and installed. We work with Chief Joe DeFelice of the Lindsay Fire Company to identify an at-risk area in Punxsutawney. So that would be the first ward area. It really does show on a map as first ward, but it's where the majority of the fires that happened in the last year was in that particular geographic area of Punxsutawney. He got help to get support with all three fire companies. The week prior to the event, their fire company, the Lindsay Fire Company, canvassed the area with door hangers that announced that we would be there at a particular date and time, which was April 29th, in the morning. So they put the door hangers up and canvassed the area. For the day of, again, Lindsay Fire Department hosted 30 volunteers that came from Red Cross, covering 9 counties. So we had volunteers and staff come in from 9 counties, plus participation from all 3 of the fire departments within companies within the Punxsutawney area. We started with a training session, which covers how to present home fire safety education, and we have packets that we hand out, and then also how you install smoke alarms. We do 10-year lithium batteries. The industry has decided that putting batteries in and out really test the battery, because after 10 years, the sensors go bad. I've actually gone into places where I've found fire alarms smoke alarms I've never seen before. They're so old. Other places have the old metal ones, and even others just simply have old, no batteries included, and no safety included. We had 30 volunteers, as I said. We had somebody from the First Responders Club at the high school. We had 8 teams who went out. We made 66 homes safer with a total of 113 alarms and 133 household members. The Chamber of Commerce also supported us with the donuts for breakfast and the pizza for lunch. So we really were supported by the community. It didn't mean that we were done though, because when we canvass and nobody's home, we do another door hanger that says, "Oh, we're sorry we missed you, and if you're interested, please call, and we will come back and make an appointment." So in total, based on all the follow-ups and the Be Red Cross Ready presentations, we installed a total of 161 alarms in 83 homes, helping 164 individuals be safer. So we feel pretty good about the initiative across the county, because it got more information out there. The publicity from the paper really helped, because we got the phone number out, which increased the number of calls asking us to come in and install free smoke alarms. Those are my 2 words that you've heard me do this before. So in the handouts that I have for all of you, one is a page that we work with the fire department in talking about the sound the alarm event itself. The other page talks about the individual programs that we go out and do, and then the third page has are the flyers that we put out when we do presentations, when we are represented at community events, etc. And last but not least, my card, in case you want to touch base with me. But I really want to say I truly appreciate the support from the Tracy at your Department of Public Safety. I really appreciate the support from the community of Punxsutawney. And we're just very happy to be able to have accomplished and made at least that many homes safer. So thank you very much. Did you have a question?
Oh, I have a few, but, okay. But well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing to help keep our people safe and protect life and limb. It's a wonderful effort. I can well imagine it's taxing on your volunteers, because it sounds like it's labor intensive. Have you and Tracy talked about taking the success you found in Punxsutawney to other parts of the county?
because they're free smoke alarms, they are supported by the donated dollar. So I will say that typically we try to, and I personally we cover 10 counties from our area. No, we haven't talked about going yet to other areas. We always have we'll make an appointment kind of information out there. We are always trying to get into schools to try to do the programs. And I feel that we did a pretty good job with your senior centers. So yes and no. When we can identify that there's another area in our geographic footprint that's had an excessive number of fires, we might target that area
I see.
in the following year. So yes and no.
Okay. Well, this kind of good work, we want to certainly take advantage of to the greatest extent that we can, as reasonable. So, we'll look for other opportunities to work with you.
We embrace that and appreciate that. While this may be labor intensive, to be perfectly honest, it's one of the activities and initiatives that our volunteers really, really like, because it's not responding to a fire. It's not responding to a fatality. It's going out to try to prevent that. So we know that, again, when we walk out of a home, we know that there's working smoke alarms in there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Chris, I'm sorry, I had one more.
Oh, that's okay.
Early on when you started to speak, you said something about volunteer counselors in the mental health realm. Is there any cross coordination with the agencies that provide that in an area?
Yes. The folks who we have are licensed and currently licensed professionals. They donate their time, so they're not trying to continue and do billable hours. What they'll do is over the telephone, they'll follow up if our initial responders, who are the disaster action team, when they report back, they may say, oh, Chris's house burned and she was overly distraught and she probably could benefit from a follow-up phone call to sort of do a baseline how she's doing. If there is additional need, they will refer that client to professionals in the area. So we rely, as I also said, we really rely on the support of the community and county resources. And I know that they're tough and thinly spread, just like everybody else, but we want folks to recover and move forward in where they live. So those folks would do an initial evaluation and then refer back.
I see.
When it comes to mental health. When it comes to health services, what happens there is often somebody who is a health professional will call because medications have been compromised in the emergency situation. Even if it hasn't necessarily gotten water damage, the heat can compromise the medications. So they will work with the pharmacy and the insurance provider to try to get those kind of things replaced. We're able to replace glasses because we have an agreement with VSP and medical equipment. But if it comes to anything, if anybody had smoke inhalation or any kind of injury from the fire, that's immediately referred back to the community.
I see.
Yeah.
It's like a mental health triage.
That's a great way to put it, yes. So, but it's just for the immediate sort of assessment to try to figure out, is this person in danger? Either physically or emotionally, and should they be referred? And so that's what these folks typically do.
Thank you and your staff volunteers for doing that.
Yeah.
Alex or Justin, you have any questions you'd like to ask Chris, or maybe catch her after?
I actually attended the smoke alone thing in Punxsutawney, so I've hit her up with as many questions as I could possibly done that day. And I will say her group of volunteers on an early Saturday morning, we're all very happy and excited to be there.
What about you?
It was early morning.
It was early morning.
I can't think of any questions besides our, my esteemed colleague is on the fire department, so he can,
What a great resource.
you
Chris, thank you for coming. and
Thank you
sharing.
very much.
We are also joined today by the Director of our Solid Waste Authority, Ron Cooper.
Yep, I just wanted to give you a quick update, especially with our special collection. Our next special collection is coming up August 26th. Electronics, televisions, and household hazardous waste. I gave you a newsletter or a news article that I had done for our last collection in May. We had actually diverted 5.8 tons of those kind of materials out of the landfill, which is good. It equaled out to about 11,600 pounds, and of that, just under 8,000 of it was electronics and televisions. If that gives you any idea of what people are holding on to out there. But these collections help people properly either dispose of these items or also as much of what can be recycled is recycled. We work with a third-party vendor. They know how to handle all the materials. So the next collection again is August 26th. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Make sure that you reserve your spot. And the website is on the flyer that I gave you. And also attached to the agenda, thanks to Karen. And we'd like to thank Goodwill. They are gracious enough to host the location for us. They provide volunteers and they also provide a forklift. So therefore, we don't have to pay for that. So that cost does not go on to anybody that's participating in the collection. The Glass for Good program with Owens, Illinois is going very well. I gave you the newsletter, which would have been for the second quarter of this year. So we collected just shy of 29 tons of glass through all the drop-off sites. And then pharmaceutical collection, I wanted to give you an update of what's being dropped off countywide. If you remember, that program is operated by the district attorney's office here. The flyer that I gave you shows the 4 locations. They're all at either police or sheriff department. And in 2022, 351 pounds of pharmaceuticals, unused medicine, unused over-the-counter was collected. Since 2015 with that program, we've collected just shy of 3,600 pounds. So we're keeping that off the streets. We're keeping it from going down the toilet because you should not be flushing any medications. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
No, thank you for everything that you're doing, and I'd just like to add, going back to your hazardous chemical collection effort. I was a customer last year, and I can just say that it is as simple and effective as Don has laid out. I made my arrangements, came by with the old chemicals I needed to drop off, and I was out of there in 2 minutes with her. So,
Yeah, I think the company that we work with has a good handle on it.
Yeah.
And actually, reserving your spot makes the line flow.
yeah, it's a good operation.
Well, and then last, in May, we had 24 municipalities represented, so I know people are coming from throughout the entire county.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that brings us to further public comment. Does anyone else have anything from the floor? All right, ladies and gentlemen of the press, anything from you?
we'll work on.
I think the question you're gonna ask is my question. So.
I was wondering how long, now that it's been announced that there was a letter sent from Tomago, how long are you guys gonna wait? Since you're still waiting for answers?
Our approach to this is that we're going to continue with the decertification process until every municipality has had the opportunity to speak on behalf of their people. So at the very end of June, early July, is when we sought the Burton Township support on this matter, and understanding that because of the way municipalities go through their meeting cycle, several of them are just having the opportunity to consider it for the first time this month. So we're going to continue the decertification process. At this point, we have heard back, out of the 34 boroughs and townships, we've heard back from all but seven.
Yeah.
So even though, to your point, Alex, we did get that letter, and we are well past the 65% threshold. We still think it's important to have, leave that door open for all the boroughs and townships to speak. And we want to hear.
So you think you'll just give them until the end of this month when they've all had a chance to have a meeting?
I think that's reasonable. Especially for those municipalities that had their meetings in the early part of last month, it was too short of a cycle for them to properly consider the issue. So certainly by the end of August, everyone will have had the opportunity.
Okay. And then I've also heard a rumor that there's some townships that are maybe talking about consolidating, and I didn't know if that's something that you guys would know in the county level.
Yes,
Is
we
that,
have to know that, but Karen is in the middle of a couple of them anyway, working with our solicitor.
Elder Township in Barnett.
okay, so they've started that
Yes,
process.
they've started the process, they've passed their necessary paperwork. Now it'll, talking with our solicitor to see what the next step is.
Okay, so you guys, this isn't something that you've kind of gone through before as a process?
No, I have not. This is all new.
It's new territory
It
for us.
is new territory.
But, our neighbors to the east have some experience with that. We will we'll understand and work the process, help those two townships go through the necessary steps, and then the people will decide.
Do you know, is that something that'll have to be put on their ballots?
That's where
Yeah.
I'm at right now,
Okay,
and verbiage and, just making sure everything's clear.
okay.
Yeah, ultimately, this goes before the people of Barnett and Elder Townships. And the follow along.
Okay.
But yeah, that's an active interest going on right now.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that I have then.
Was that your question?
Yeah, that was my question. But did the two townships give a reason for wanting to consolidate?
I don't know that they gave a reason. They sent the administrative paperwork to us saying that was an interest on the part of the two boards. I could infer
Yeah.
what it might be. But,
Yeah, they don't have to give us the reason, they just do the
Yeah.
paperwork, and pass the
Yeah.
ordinances, and then it's up to us to get it on the ballot.
Anything said here would be speculation. Those boards would be best suited to answer that question.
Yeah, I don't.
Come on, ask a tough one. Ask a tough one. Water manhole covers round.
So if we can go back to your question, Alex, if I can, is, we are continually, working every day on what tourism is gonna look in Jefferson County. We have, the job's been advertised. We have several applicants, really good applicants today. That was just, I think, last week, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot going on every day.
You guys had, been waiting for RFPs to come back that you sent out, and then you were gonna.
We met with some marketing firms, get a branding in that, and we met with 3 of them, and in fact, we have them coming back in this week. So, and we're learning a ton along the way, so it's very interesting. So there's a lot going on, that we're doing weekly.
Moving rapidly.
Yes.
Yeah, did that kind of move your timeline forward for figuring everything out, getting that letter, or is this still the same?
And we are towards the end of the 65%. We couldn't do anything until we got
Yeah.
close to that. So then we already had planned what our next steps were gonna be. So
Okay.
really didn't.
Didn't impact it.
Number 6, the appointment of Mr. McGinnis to the County Industrial Development Authority. What is that? Does that have anything to do with the PAYGO thing? Like, what is that for?
So the Industrial Development Authority is basically just in the name, it is an authority that kind of oversees industrial development. I oversee that board as part of economic development. The appointment of, there was an open seat, Mr. McGinnis was interested, he brings a wealth of knowledge from the Punxsutawney area. It also doesn't hurt that he is a captive audience of me 2 days a week as an auditor. But we're really gearing up that board to get ready for grant season. I think they've been underutilized in the past. Industrial development authorities have specific priorities on certain funding sources that I'd like to take advantage of in the coming months. So I'm really trying to beef up that board to get ready for grant season.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
I have one item to announce and share, and that is that, in follow-up to our efforts to help the health and emergency services response, we're having our follow-up meeting this month. As you might recall, we met in May with the boroughs and townships to provide information. We've invited them to come back on August 24th at 1 p.m. to provide us the feedback. The task at the time that we met with them was to take our information, go back to their respective boroughs and townships, consider what that path forward may look like, and we would reconvene. So that's our follow-on meeting. And the invitation just went out to them. So they could be arriving at boroughs and townships this week.
And that's gonna be down in the large conference room again?
So, anything else? Given that, may we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
Mr. North,
Yes.
Mr. Pistachio.
Thank you.